Let's come back to that question in a bit. Instead, I'll first introduce myself. I am Tanvi Gullapudi, a freshman who's interested in the future of AI and technology in adolescents' beauty standards and cosmetic procedures. AI and technology in the future of beauty standards and cosmetic surgical procedures. As a society, every minute of our lives is now dependent on the technology around us. From sleeping to eating, everything uses technology. Technology isn't only our phones, computer, or television. It's even the scalpel in a surgical room. Today, our face is so delicate. However, altering it has become increasingly simple. The initial resort to presenting oneself as a definition of pretty used to be makeup, but that's now progressed into surgical procedures. The procedures alter the face and its features. Surgeries such as rhinoplasty or facelift use technology to change these delicate features and leave healing periods from 3 months to 2 years. Technology has only advanced since what it used to be, and as time continues to progress, it only gets better. Knowing this, take a moment to imagine the future of these surgical procedures where technology is at its peak. I imagine a world where the face can be altered without hesitation. A world where the face can be changed in the time it takes me to snap my 2 fingers. Now, I want to pose a question. What compels people to permanently change their face? The big answer? Social media. You may have heard numerous times about social media being bad for you or unsafe. But how much time do you really spend on it? For me, I spend about 2 hours on TikTok and 1.5 hours on Snapchat every day on average, including the weekends. The average amount of time on social media for a teen is about 4 hours per day. In these 4 hours, us teens are introduced to so many ideas and concepts, one of the most prominent ones being beauty standards. Remember that question from earlier? If you don't, here's a reminder. What social media beauty standards do you not fit into? Here were some of our responses. When asked, we saw a common trend of the responses saying an hourglass waist, a skinny nose, clear skin, and a skinnier face. Let's also ask ChatGPT, what physical features makes someone pretty? It says symmetry, clear skin, facial proportions, bright eyes, healthy hair, a smile, and good body proportions. And it gives the typical, you're pretty just the way you are response. Why are these some of the standards? AI has generated the order for videos on our TikTok For You page all the way to the filters we use. As AI is being developed, it has begun to make a mind of its own after being introduced to data sets of information and to make conclusions from it. Beauty standards provide an expectation for people to reach. And with the increasing amount of time teenagers spend on social media, they're introduced to so much more AI-generated content, especially beauty standards. In this video, let's explore the world of cosmetic surgery as AI continues to develop unrealistic beauty standards that are being presented to us teenagers. AI and technology and how it works in social media. AI, or artificial intelligence, develops conclusions after analyzing data sets. What are data sets, you may ask? These are collections of data such as weight, height, volume, related to a certain question. Multiple sets of data create information that AI can use to make smart conclusions. As I mentioned earlier, AI is found in the majority of social media, most commonly in the form of filters and algorithms. Filters are the ones with the most prominent use in social media. Filters allow the face to be presented in the output differently from the input. In other words, AI filters are powered by artificial intelligence, enabling them to recognize shapes, colors, and details in any video and transform them into something new. Some filters may change facial shape, features, or show pop-ups instead. AI is implemented into filters through numerous ways and removes the need for manual guidance. AI filter bots recognize patterns and features to do certain processes. An example would be that the AI bot needs to be able to recognize where your eyes are and shape to apply the sunglasses feature in Snapchat. The algorithms generated through AI machinery organize the order of the videos or posts you'd see along with deciding what should be seen. Algorithms such as the one on TikTok are supplied with training data or data sets that allow it to make assumptions based on markers. Which markers, you may ask? That's when the power of hashtags, captions, audios, and effects come in. The machine learning algorithms will use training data to make conclusions on what the viewer would more likely wish to watch. As shown in the picture, these factors allow algorithms to learn what exactly the viewer prefers and does not. Even more minuscule details play a role. For example, liking a video will prove to the algorithm that the video is preferred, and it will use those 4 characteristics to find similar videos that follow a common pattern. Have you ever noticed that when searching up a question or an audio on TikTok, a few videos later on your For You page, you find the answer to the question or you find the audio? While that may seem like luck, it's purely the algorithm's technique and calculations that power this. With more use, the algorithms learn about the user better. This may be why Instagram was not that interesting to you when you first downloaded it, but after a month or so, it became much more interesting and more captivating to use, since it aligns with your interests. If social media uses AI-powered algorithms to make decisions on what should be shown, and filters alter the face are also generated through AI, then AI has control over every concept and idea presented to us teenagers, and has the strongest grip on the concept of beauty standards.
What are beauty standards?
If you've ever used the terms pretty or beautiful, you must have had to evaluate someone in relation to a standard. These standards, as mentioned before, are beauty standards. Beauty standards are subjective to culture. However, TikTok, Instagram, and other social media develop a culture of its own. Unlike other cultures, social media is accessible to everyone, meaning that its ideas and concepts are widespread. Teens are the largest part or target of social media, meaning they're also subjected to the most complicated of social media cultures. Beauty standards are rules or guidelines on what should be considered pretty. This is like deciding whether a button nose or a crooked nose is beautiful. Social media's beauty standards would argue that a button nose is more. These standards provide for insecurities and body image issues. In our forum earlier, we learned about some beauty standards that people don't fit into. These develop into serious insecurities. While we're talking mainly about the face, a prominent beauty standard was being skinny, and these develop into problems such as eating disorders. In the FHE Mental Health Clinic website, they use a hypothetical character, Lindsay, to explain what an average teen goes through after being introduced to beauty standards. They say, Lindsay is just one example of the many people who suffer from eating disorders and depression while trying to meet the unrealistic beauty standards they're exposed to. Insecurities such as skinniness aren't the only cause of conditions such as eating disorders. However, they're prominent causes. To come back to the concept of facial features, similar to Lindsay, people will try to change their features through surgeries and makeup. There is nothing wrong with cosmetic procedures, as they can actually help people. However, in a society where trends change so rapidly, but surgeries are permanent, surgeries are often misused.
Is it really true?
Now, I've just presented information that I've gathered, but the best way to prove its accuracy would be to show the true opinions of 13 to 19-year-olds impacted by social media. I would like to preface this by adding that there will be bias in the Google form due to the severity of the topic. We have been taught as a society that we should never say that someone is prettier with makeup or filters than their natural state, as it would make us superficial if we did. Due to this, the survey would have some issues with honesty. However, the Google form conducted aimed to explain the remains and to explain the true opinions, at least getting a rough idea. First, let's look at the gender and age group. Since I primarily targeted females, most responses were from women other than 2. However, I will present their data included since they help show other angles. The ages were composed mostly of 14 to 15-year-olds. However, all age groups use the same social media, so it still applies. The first question we will look at was asking the participants about which eye shape they've seen on social media as the most beautiful. Then I compared this to another question about their own views. And in this, I learned that there was a close tie. When asked about what they've seen on social media, the responses showed that about 63.5% of social media users noticed that almond eyes were the most common. In the personal views question, 44.8 of the 67 responses said that almond eyes were the most beautiful to them. This doesn't include those that don't use social media. Keeping in mind the bias and other confounding variables, there's a close relation between both. To be exact, there's about 18.7% of a difference between both scores. What does this mean though? Well, we first established that there is a common pattern of social media beauty standards. Then, through looking at the personal belief scores, we learned that some of these trends of social media began to resonate with the people themselves, and they started adopting these. To delve further, let us look at how AI portrays people to be the stereotypical form of beautiful. Here's the first of two examples, both from TikTok, through the AI beauty filter. Before I show these pictures, I would like to know that I do not mean any disrespect to the woman that I will show, as they're all beautiful. First, here's a picture of a woman without an AI-generated filter, and we'll call her option 2. Here is the picture of the same lady with the AI-generated filter. Let's call her option 1. Firstly, wow, seeing how much a filter can do is insane. Also, let's take another look at what exactly changed in the face. Well, this filter enlarged her lips, darkened the brows, cleared her skin, made bolder eyes, and thinned her chin. Now, when we asked which one is more attractive, the responses showed that option 1 was much more favorable. This is because these changes in the face are things that have been glorified by the social media and AI filter beauty standards that we're easily shown. Here is the second person. With filter versus without filter. And the results clearly showed that she was considered much prettier with the filter. So to conclude, we learned that the filter made the people considerably more attractive, as attractiveness relates to the ability to fit into these beauty standards. So here's a quick rundown of the chain of events that we discussed. Social media presents beauty standards which cause the personal acquisition of these standards as personal beliefs. The use of filters also present beauty standards which adds to the acquisition of these beauty standard beliefs. In the end, because of the ideas presented, people begin to follow these unrealistic beauty standards.
Technology used for cosmetic surgery.
Compared to many years ago, our technology has advanced greatly. As humans, our curiosity leads us to many creations and discoveries. A curiosity that has revolutionized and or created it would be the question of how to change one's face. How many times have you thought about what life would be like if you looked different? Probably not a lot of times, but still, you may have noticed those features you'd wish to change. Due to this interest, many people dove into finding surgeries which can do this. In data published in 2021, it was reported that cosmetic surgery is expected to compoundly increase by 6.34% between 2021 to 2028. Cosmetic surgery has already grown so much in a short period of time, and with the discovery of more technology, it is only becoming more and more possible to alter the face. Studies show that cosmetic surgery's long-term goal is to become less invasive and more affordable, as said by Ramsay Healthcare. However, being more affordable also means being more accessible. And in a capitalistic world, the desire for earning more and finding more solutions is endless. Currently, stem cell treatment may be used to get long-lasting filler, and it's currently being used to solve burns and other nerve injuries. Society also has an obsession with aging and finding ways to stop it. This would be a powering factor in cosmetic surgery technology search. Example of current surgery includes rhinoplasty, which is the form of nose reconstruction. This is done by reshaping the cartilage and bone to fit the stereotypical nose shape. Studies have shown a relation between the beauty standards that we've discussed earlier and cosmetic surgeries. A cosmetic surgeon, Ally Ismaili, says that she noticed that many people will come in for surgery asking for what a celebrity has gotten and possibly use them as a reference photo. Well, how did these celebrities get on their For You page? Well, probably because of their AI-generated algorithms. And these celebrities may have also had filters on. Surgery is now influenced through the trends that social media has started and created. To achieve everything that ChatGPT has earlier told us, there's a need for cosmetic surgery.
To wrap it up,
Social media, as explained, is the catalyst for turning our common features into insecurities that require cosmetic procedures. And they aren't all that bad, but when the reason for them are insecurities created by the depiction of these beauty standards on social media, they often can be misused. This may seem harmless in the short term, but the lasting effect remains and will only become worse over time. We discussed what beauty standards are. To summarize, these are expectations and rules that would deem someone beautiful. We also went over how AI presents itself in numerous forms, but especially in the form of filters and algorithms. To check the truth behind these statements I've made, we analyzed a survey conducted by asking 67 teens about their experiences with social media and what they have seen as the beauty standard. We noticed how filters play a role in the never-ending cycle of beauty standards. And lastly, we saw the projected growth for surgical technology that is only developing more and more with the increased demands for solutions. So let's make a quick chart. Social media uses AI. The forms it uses are algorithms and filters. These feed into insecurities, which increase demands for surgical procedures. And with this increase, more surgical technology will be researched, allowing for a society where the face can be changed so quickly. So before you let AI take the reins of your entire self-confidence and future, take a moment to really think. Do you want an inanimate computerized program to tell you what beauty is? Because I don't.